Hello everyone, good evening. It's good to see us here. I see we're now 43. So just one person can unmute and tell me I'm audible and yeah, I'm okay.
Hello, you're very much audible.
Okay, thank you.
And good evening.
So let me just confirm our speaker is on the call and then we can start this off.
Yes, good evening, guys. Job Okello here. I'll be taking you through today. I believe I'm on the call.
Okay, thank you, Job. So again, good evening, everyone. It's good to see you here. This is our first interaction for the job mentorship and matching program. Welcome. Feel at feel at Cybersecurity. I wouldn't say feel at home. My name is Hope Helen Duta. For those who are in the orientation, we got a chance to say hi and just welcome you into the program. So my name is Hope, and I'm a risk and also research associate at Cybersecurity. We will be mostly interacting through the job hunting and mentorship sessions. I'm usually the host for these sessions. So, in case you have people you want to suggest to come over or topics you feel that would specifically match what you want or the kind of job you want to secure, you could also send a message or an email to just put that in mind in our schedule. So without going on and on and on, I'll just go on and introduce who Job is, and then we can start off. So just something else I should have said. Just basic rules. We normally give the speaker a chance to go ahead and mentor, and then we do a QA afterwards. However, it also depends on the speaker's style of mentorship. There are those who suggest people to comment and ask questions as they go through. There are those who ask questions at the very end. So once I hand it over to the speaker, then that lies in their hand. Yeah, I think that's the basic rule. The rest we will learn and accommodate each other as we go on. So I'll go ahead and introduce Job Okello, who is going to speak about building a career in cybersecurity, which I feel is very relevant when we are starting off these sessions. So, who is Job? Just a brief professional bio. He is a tech enthusiast who enjoys exploring and finding solutions to all societal challenges through technology. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science with over 7 years of experience in software engineering, network, and mobile application security. He is currently working with Serianu as a Senior SOC Analyst, having experience with offering cybersecurity solutions to tech-based financial and health institutions within Kenya and across the continent. He is also a peer mentor with ACAD Africa and as well as a MentorMe Kenya, as well as MentorMe Kenya, using the platform to build and impart knowledge to all members with interest in technology. So thank you so much, Job, for honoring the invite to be here. Over to you. Feel free to direct us as you find best. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that, Hope. Good evening, everyone. I hope you guys have had an amazing day and an amazing week. So yes, as mentioned by Hope, I'll be taking you through this short 1 hour session into building a career in cybersecurity. You guys are, I can say, are very lucky to be here, and it's an amazing chance to actually be in the hands of people who actually done it. I personally got into cybersecurity through being mentored. I got in the hands of someone who was actually doing it, and I was convinced I wanted to do something for society. I was one of those guys who switched from wanting to do medicine after being given the first laptop and internet access. That is how everything changed for me. So as I mentor you guys, as we go through this talk, feel free to ask questions. I believe everyone should be given that chance. And yeah, I'll be taking questions every now and then, and hope by the end of it all, I will not cover everything. Cybersecurity is quite a large field to delve into, but I'll try my best to just impart you guys with as much as I have. So for today's session, we'll be covering quite a number of topics. So first, we'll just go through a rough understanding of what cybersecurity is all about, then understanding the CIA triad, core areas in cybersecurity. We'll dwell so much on the learning process and how to gain experience, look at the different roles of cybersecurity, how to do a personality review, and marrying the same with your role in cybersecurity, how to work on certifications, and finally, how to continue growing as a cybersecurity professional. So as you always begin, I believe you've seen this enough times now that you guys are here. Cybersecurity literally is the practice of defending computer servers, mobile devices, and any other electronic systems from attack by intruders. So in a world where everything literally revolves around tech, and actually having been forced into using tech by advent such as the COVID-19, the society really relies on tech, and as the more we digitize each of our interactions and processes, the more the risk that are associated with them become. So as you get into cybersecurity, just ask yourself this question: why am I going this direction, and why should I be protecting? Why should I have this urge to always keep systems protected? Cybersecurity itself is built on literally is built on data. As you always say, data is the new oil. So in regards to data, we look at confidentiality of the data, the integrity of the data, and the availability of the data. Yeah. So as much as we have systems in place, if the data is not kept private, that data is not secure. If that data can be tampered with before being handed over to someone, whether in transit or at rest, that data is not secure. And if that the same data, it cannot be available to the people who actually need it, then that data cannot be considered secure, because systems run on data. Systems take in data and chew on the data and give you results based on those given data. So you have to ensure that this data at all given times is secure. So with that in mind, now we look at the various areas of interest in cybersecurity. Knowing that now we are looking at data, what does this also include? We're looking at network security. As we know, in cybersecurity, you're not just protecting one given computer. You're protecting a number of computers within a given network, because at any given point in time, one compromised computer can leave the whole network being insecure. As any network at any given point in time is as secure as the last vulnerable computer. So the last vulnerable computer, how secure is that given vulnerable computer? Once we can actually give a measurement to that, then we can now base how secure our network is at that given point in time. Then you look at applications. Of course, we're running these given systems on a network, and then how do we interact with the network? We have applications that have different functions. So how do we implement these applications? Because I know a good number of individuals within cybersecurity are either system developers or the end users themselves. So as you put a system out there, as you manage that system out there, how is this system kept in this secure bubble at all times? And that is what we focus on the application security bit of it. Then later on, we go and look at information security. These given applications cannot function without data being put into them. So I am putting my name, my email address, my my name, my email address, where I stay. Can even put my debit card, credit card number, my phone number. As that given information, how is it stored? As it moves from one server to the other, as it moves from one application to the other over the internet, how is that being kept secure? That gives the question. Then we also look at operational security. So here we look at the given processes that are put in place, and to ensure that at any given point in time, your data is also secure, regardless of the processes that are in place. How do you handle data in the case in the case of an interruption? How long can you hold on to this data? What or who gets to touch this given data at any given point in time? Then we also look at finally the disaster recovery and the business continuity aspect of it. We are living in a world that is running, and anything can happen at any given point in time. How secure and how productive or efficient a network of systems is can also be dependent on how that given network can get back on its feet. That given list of systems can be back at operational efficiency during the shortest period of time. So here we look at various aspects. Do we have a disaster recovery plan? What is do we have a hot site in place? How soon can we get back to how soon can we get back on our feet in case of a major intrusion? How much can we be able to evaluate how much we've lost and the severity of a given attack? So we look at this given area, and at the end of the day, we also look at the end users. As much as we look at the least secure server, it only takes one individual armed with an insecure PDF to bring down a whole network. So as an individual, how much do you know? How much do you know in case of keeping yourself secure? May you be the worker, or you just the end user at the station, or maybe you are the IT technician. What knowledge do you have that and ensure that you are keeping the network secure at all given times? So all of this just gives you a brief understanding of what cybersecurity is all about. First, you get to learn about all these concepts. You cannot protect what you don't understand, and understanding it comes from understanding each and every bit of it. And then now, once you gain an understanding, now we go into the learning process. So you know what is at hand here. You know what you're trying to protect. Now the question is how you want to protect. Up to that given level, do we have anyone who has a question, any comment before I jump into the next section, which is actually the learning process, how to start building it? Any questions? Comments? Yes, Muki?
So you covered the core areas in cybersecurity. Now, is there a way of specializing in one, or it's better to be confident with mostly the main five?
Okay.
Be able to undertake the sixth.
I will give a rather funny answer. So the good book says test which is good and what is not, and then you decide. It's even emphasized in the Bible. So this is the approach I like taking. First, as you're getting into cybersecurity, no one will tie you down unless you decide to tie yourself down. I got into cybersecurity as a mobile applications specialist, but later on, after interacting with various areas, that is DevOps, DevSecOps, and even just SOC operations, I started developing a clear liking towards network security and application security. So just test everything. You see, in the learning process, you get to look at everything, and as that goes, you get to identify an area of specialization. It comes, and I think that will be tied down to your personality as an individual. What do you like doing? Do you like being that one person who just sits in a dark room and just finds vulnerabilities in other people's systems? Or do you like being that one person who will stand in front of the class or in front of the company and just give strategic ideas on how to keep security? See, all this tie in with your personality, and also tying with how you've touched the system and interacting with them long enough. But I'll address that in detail towards the end of this given presentation. So I think with that, is there another question? Any other question? Mugi, have answered you? Good. Any other question before I move? I'll take one more question.
Hello.
Yes.
Would you kindly differentiate the difference between cybersecurity and information security?
Okay. So cybersecurity is like the whole complete picture of what this is all about. Cybersecurity looks at all these given areas of security. Information security is now a subset of security. Cybersecurity encompasses both the information and the systems, but information security just looks at the data point of view and the information point of view. Literally, we're focusing more on the user side of things as compared to cybersecurity, we just looks at everything else. So one is the subset of the other. Does that make sense?
So you mean like information security is the narrowed down of cybersecurity?
Yes.
Okay.
So I believe with that. Alfred, before I close.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that was you. Felix? I think that should be the last one.
Oh, sorry, that's a false alarm. Sorry.
Okay. So with that, I'll move into the next part, which is actually the learning process. So now, one funny thing and one thing I love about cybersecurity is that it does not actually box you in when you want to get into it. Contrary to opinion, it's always believed that it was always guys who had a background in IT, took a tech-based course at the university or the college level that would get into cybersecurity. But now, with the advent of the internet and YouTube University, anyone, provided you have enough time and dedication and discipline, you can learn cybersecurity. And this can actually be done using in a self-paced manner. And then you can actually, for guys who are actually lucky enough to get this handed over to them, you can actually do it in an institution by of higher learning or a college by taking a course that just comes with all of this, put in a cocktail, and at the end of it all, you get a degree. So each and every one of them has their own advantages and disadvantages, and also the times. The sweet thing about having a self-learning path is that you can easily deviate to something else within the same path if it does not take your interest. But now with the institutional based sort of learning, you have to go through the whole thing. There are things you will learn that you will never use. There are things you learn that you will actually come to like and use for the rest of your life. So in this case, I will just explore all the given areas. And first of all, we look at the introduction bit of it. Both institution of higher learning and even self-paced learning, you get to go into something called the introductory bit of cybersecurity. Here you get to understand cybersecurity, the concepts on a very shallow level. Learn networking, security approaches, learn definitions such as what you get to learn about definitions about what a phishing is, what a malware is. There's a whole list of things that goes into just introducing you to cybersecurity without specializing. And this is actually that part where I was saying you get to test everything else before you decide to now go into one rabbit hole. And then I think once you've done that, the best place you find yourself in this case, you can actually do this introduction and then jump into working immediately. Then you start focusing on that, or you can just go through the learning process, do it all together, and then later on decide to jump into working. Then once you gain an understanding of what cybersecurity is all about, and I think the next step should be more easier. And you've seen right now, as I've talked about, if it is in a self-paced learning model, you can actually do that with courses such as Introduction to Cybersecurity by Cisco, certifications such as Computer Security Plus, and there's a whole list of certifications, some even being given by OEM such as Fortinet, IBM, even have EC Council coming in and software security coming in with this. So provided you're willing to learn about it, there will always be something out there. And we even have awareness campaigns just teaching about introductions. So you won't even need to pay a dime to actually start learning. Next, you need to understand operating systems. Now, at all times, without the knowledge of an operating system, you won't be able to protect an environment. At the end of the day, everything runs on a system. And as a cybersecurity system, you are as good as a Swiss Army knife. The more knowledge you have about diverse operating systems, the better you are. You have better market value. Understanding something like Windows and iOS, most of the time it is actually being used for just by end users. This is what you use for watching your movies, playing your games, handing over reports at the workplace, and admins at the workplace use it for administration purposes. And then you also learn about Linux systems, of course, being used to run servers, and every now and then red team and blue team activities. That is, if you decide to narrow in. So getting a grip of what this cybersecurity, what these information operating systems are all about, that gives you an upper hand. Because it will actually, if you sit, let's say, for example, you end up as an analyst, as I was working in, you will look at data and this sort of data and this kind of print comes from a Windows operating system. That sort of data and the event type comes from an iOS system, and this is actually a Linux execution taking place. And that enables you to actually look at the data as it comes in, make decisions fast enough, and be able to react in good time and keep the network secure. Then next, we look at networking. Of course, at the end of the day, a computer on its own won't make sense. That computer has to be within a network. So you being able to understand what a network is and how to implement or build a network is really, really important. And when you go into network and introductory courses and even deep dive courses, you get understanding of what the OSI model is and what the TCP/IP model, actually the de facto model currently being used, is all about. You can take courses such as CCNA 1, 2, 3. You can take another course such as CCNP, which is more secure centric. Looking at it this way, a majority of networking devices actually running on CCNA. And as much as there's cloud out there, there's an administrator with CCNA certifications sitting behind it all and doing all the administration work. So if you come in with this knowledge, you can get under the hood, make secure implementations of this given knowledge, of this given network. And then we have new entrants into the market, such as Huawei. As at I believe 2017, they were holding around 50% of market share in devices. So looking at that, having a knowledge of the HCIA puts you in a better position when you walk into an organization which actually does not want to use Cisco devices and therefore goes just for Huawei based stack. So, but at the end of it all, just knowing what this given set of tools and the protocols they run on and how they've been put together really puts you at the best level to just protect them. Then we also look at programming languages. You see, as you come into cybersecurity, a good number of us were interested into cybersecurity after watching movies that speak about hacking concepts. Look at the movies such as a series such as Mr. Robot and whatnot. So you really want to hack your way into stuff, and most of the time you're just looking at a terminal. But what happens is that usually these are guys running systems that have been pre-made for them, and they're executing them. The best thing to do, as much as time as you walk in, you'll be using already pre-configured, fully made systems. But at some point, as you grow more and more mature in this given line of work, you will be required at some point to write your own scripts, or even take down pre-existing systems, and that is in reverse engineering, break them down and reconfigure them to suit what you want. It won't make sense for me to come, let's say I'm doing a pen testing. I'm working in with a framework, a pen testing framework, and I want to just run the whole script. I'll just cut it down to fit that given activity, save more time, and get very intentional and accurate results. And so in this given case, you learning the programming languages makes it easier for you to make those changes. So when most of the time we're looking at this security programs being written in languages such as the Python and the JavaScript, C, C++, and Java. So you learning these given languages gives you overall control, and there's no better feeling than control, especially when you're sitting in front of that black terminal and you're running scripts and they're giving you results, and you know you actually altered it by yourself. There's no better feeling. And then at the end of it all, we're actually looking at databases. As we said, cybersecurity revolves around keeping data secure, and this data is stored in databases. As much as you have these computers being connected, if you have an insecure database and you don't have any knowledge of how to alter it and set it up, and how do you run your queries, how do you run your procedures, then you will miss out on the end goal in that given sense. So having a better understanding of this end goal of what database is running, how to look at the queries, what query is sensitive, what query will cause less harm if executed. That puts you also in a better position. Let's say you're an analyst and you're doing a forensic investigation. You'll be given, let's say, you'll be given an audit trail of all the commands that were executed within a given period of time, and then from there you get to give your judgment as to whether the person in question or the script run in question caused the harm. So that given knowledge enables you to actually make better decisions, keep the data secure, and overall keep the network secure. Then once you've had all that knowledge, now it's time to put it all together and start getting some practical ethical hacking skills. So once I understand the databases, how can I now put all that together to make sense? How can I have a functioning network? Because a lot of times you will not just start within a live environment. You're still new into the systems. You might actually do something wrong that might actually shut down the whole network, bring something down, and a company might end up in losses, and that will not look good on you. So the key ways of doing this is actually building home labs. And these days with the systems, virtualization systems such as VMware, Workstation, and VirtualBox, and even ESXi, if you're working in a company that has play areas, you can actually be able to do that. Another way of just gaining practical ethical hacking or cybersecurity knowledge is actually attending CTF events. And here you're not only limited to just one approach towards security. You're actually exposed to a wide way of looking at things. To add on top of it, you get to network with amazing people who actually come with different ideas on how to secure networks. And we also have hackathons, which almost do something similar. And as you do this both on a personal level and within a group level, you enhance your skills, and you also get to build other people. And then you always stay within a community of like-minded individuals who end up building you from time to time. And this makes you actually a better suit while getting into the industry. Then at this point, you might want to now jump straight into, let's say, a workplace, let's say a company, or maybe if you want to go at it alone, become a consultant, a freelancer, with just wanting to put your knowledge to the test. At some point, you also want to, for guys who still feel like that is not enough, you can actually go and advance your cybersecurity approaches. So here you get to do aspects such as net deployment and configuration of firewalls, looking at advanced concepts such as cryptography, taking part in exercises such as vulnerability assessments and forensic investigations. So now in this case, now you have a better control, better understanding, and now you get to put all your knowledge in a manner that can be presented in a forum. Let's take, for instance, a vulnerability assessment or a forensic assessment. You might stand in front of a judge or a board of management of a bank or an institution, and that given piece of document from your analysis after that given exercise might be used to make really moving decisions in that given company, forum, or whichever authority you might be facing, and that can do something to your career as a cybersecurity specialist. And then now, after looking at all of this, if you try and look at the same thing that you've achieved in this given case on a self-learning basis, that is you defining your own paths, gathering crumbs here and there, you can still do it within an institution, such as university or either via an OEM. Courses usually people go for when they want to actually get a foot in the door in regards to cybersecurity can be computer science. I went to computer science, and it made it easy for me to just transition into cybersecurity. And you understand things in a different way. Your mindset becomes different. You look at information technology or information security and forensics. They also orient you in a different manner as you walk in. Then you also look at OEMs these days. As one of the key ways of pushing their product, they also want you to just have a prerequisite knowledge of cybersecurity before as you use their products. So guys at Fortinet don't want you to sit there blank and they're using their SIEMs, their NACs, and their SOAR products. The guys that are SOAR security don't want you to sit there not knowing what the traffic looks like on the other side. And some of these courses are even free, offered, let's say, on a partnership level, and sometimes just offered to the rest of the community. So there's more knowledge being dished out here for free, provided you're willing to sit there and learn about it. Then at that given point in time, once you're done, now it can be easier for you to transition to the next level of your growth as a cybersecurity individual. And one of the key ways now, once you feel like now you're ready, you've done all your learning, you can now jump into the field. And before you jump in, getting as a professional, you can actually walk in through an internship into a cybersecurity firm or any other firm, because right now almost every institution is running on technology, and these technologies need to be secure. Yes, you can be in a firm that offers cybersecurity solutions, or you can be in a firm that consumes cybersecurity solutions. But then coming in as an individual with this sort of knowledge now puts you in a position whereby your knowledge is no longer just being dispensed within a test environment. Now you get to look at real life cases, real life scenarios, and you get to make live decisions in a prompt manner. To ensure that given site remains secure at any given point in time. You also get to look at remote works. There's a lot of remote working gigs that are available out there. Let's just take, for instance, a platform such as Cisco, as part of part of the community outreach program, they link guys who have gone through their security courses to security remote works, and that in that way you get to gain experience, and that can actually appear somewhere in your resume. And also, if you're so good and through attending CTFs and hackathons, someone out there in the industry might actually recognize you, and you'll be getting part-time jobs if you cannot secure a permanent job in this given point in time. And then you also look at learning platforms. There are quite a number of learning platforms that you can use out there. Very many learning platforms that can actually help you grow your knowledge, even if you've already found your way inside the cybersecurity ecosystem. We're looking at platforms such as Cybersecurity. We're looking at Hack the Box, Try Hack Me. We're looking at Coursera, Udemy, Udacity. You're looking at InfoSec and EDX and Cybersec Labs. Just to mention a few, but that shows you just how easily it is for you to walk in and gain information and be relevant in the field. And once you've done all of this, you've gained a bit of a lot of experience gathering in this case. Now the question of which role should I specialize in comes into question. Then at that given point, I'd like to welcome any question or comments before we proceed to the remaining bit of the presentation. Yes, Keegan.
Yes, thank you so much for the presentation. There is a part that actually caught my eye on the aspect of learning databases. So nowadays, with the advancement of technologies, we get many companies tending to use database as a service. Would you suggest or acknowledge or advise for you to also understand database as services? Examples being like Firebase, MongoDB, and the likes.
Okay. I would say yes, and I would say no. Yes, in the manner that if I'm saying yes, I have my database, yes, someone is running with it. That takes off the weight and the heat of keeping that and maintaining that given database from my shoulders. And if they have guys on their side who are actually doing the management of that given database, it is their role to keep it secure. But now me saying yes should be dependent on one thing: what sort of reputation has this given institution built for themselves in the long run? Have they been caught in incidences where every now and then these guys have data leaks? You see, and that should inform my decision. Can I leave it in their hands? Then I'll say no. Looking at, let's say I am running a bank and I'm dealing with a whole host of, it's either I'm running a bank or a hospital. In case of a bank, my data literally is linked to the IPRS. I have data on individuals, their monies and all of that. And that is personal to a very high degree. So I would like to define how this data moves, how is this data grouped, when does it move? I like to have a full control. So yeah, there's a two side to it. It all depends with how secure the vendor is, and what do you really need? What do you really need as the end user or as the end company? And at some point, you can even do a hybrid. You can let them handle a bit of it, and you handle a bit of it. See, and I think the current trend is companies want to make money, and companies want to make money quick, and they want to make money in a manner that they focus on efficiency, and efficiency means time. So I don't want to have my DBA spending 1,000 years figuring out why this API is misbehaving, while I can get someone from Firebase to do that for me, and just give me an API that I can actually integrate with my in-house MSSQL or MongoDB to get that done. So I think there's very many approaches looking at it. You can either go fully separated or fully hybrid, and you can get as long as it gets the work done and you feel secure about it, then you have your go. Yes, Nyakundi.
So hi, Job. Thank you so much for the session. One of the things I want to is for you to clarify something. I want to take you back, or perhaps I had it wrong, or there was a mix-up. So you said that I think someone asked the difference between cyber and information security, and as I think about it right now, I see it as ultimately what we are protecting in cyber is information, right? Yes. And we are protecting it from different channels of, threats. So it could be physical, and then I see digital threats as the other channel. So I'm thinking information is the umbrella, and then cyber is under information. So I'd love you to clarify that, just shed more light so I understand better. And then the second and the last thing is, in the roadmap, you said a good understanding of programming languages is important. And I wanted for you to at least how important is it in the growth of your career as a cybersecurity professional? Because I think when people hear they have to learn programming languages, they get scared. So even as a maybe cybersecurity compliance and governance professional, how important is that for your growth? So thank you.
So I'll go first with now information security and cybersecurity. So as I emphasized initially, we are looking at with cybersecurity, we're looking at that computer and the whole umbrella. Yeah. So the whole umbrella is the people, the processes in it, the networking bit of it. It literally just that given networking web. How is it secure? Now with information security, we're focusing primarily on the information, be it in transit, be it at rest. So in that given case, cybersecurity in this case now just covers it all. With information security, you're just specializing on a given point of it. Though at some point it depends with your conceptualization of the whole thing. Some look at information security as being the major bit, and cybersecurity just being part of it, since it focuses on the technology aspect of it. While at some point, some look at cybersecurity as being the major container, information security being the content in that container. So there's a lot of back and forth. But now understanding that both of them just focus around securing the data in this given point in time, makes it really it will give you a rough draft for what is really happening. So there's multiple schools of thought, but now just understanding that one focuses on the whole infrastructure built in it, and one focuses on information. That should be enough. And then in the case of programming languages, yes, programming languages are not actually not that hard to learn. I think it's just the fact that we don't make it known which area we should specialize in. You're not expected to learn all programming languages. I know very few programming languages, but I only learn what I need. Let's say if you're going into data analysis, and let's say also network security, you learning Python and C++, that's enough for you, and that can be your bread and butter for the rest of your life. Learning programming should not scare you, because these days we even have tools that make it easier. We have tools that come with code completion. You can have ChatGPT generate a code for you, and then you get to break it down. But even with ChatGPT doing that code for you, you need to have a background understanding of what that is all about. But now, I'll encourage you to take an optimistic approach toward it. Learning programming language is not that hard as people make it. If you can go from hello world to doing your first function, then you're good to go. It can take you a very little time. Then always learn by doing projects. If you're trying to learn programming languages, trying to do everything that encompasses that given programming language, you'll have a very hard time. If you're learning, let me take for instance Java. If I'm learning Java to build an application, I'll have to go to the whole thing. But if I'm learning Java to just do an integration, I'll do a part of Java for that. If I'm learning Java to build another, let's say, a console-based system, I'll learn whatever is relevant to that. So take programming with a focus on specialization rather than taking programming with just understanding it. You can't be a god in programming. Even the guys who are very good still go back to GitHub and just to learn about things. So it's a never learning process. Just be optimistic about it and be open-minded. Everyone is learning. I have to go back, download a few YouTube videos, log in forums, and just try and understand it better. Yeah. So just being optimistic will make it work for you. Yes. I see a hand by Ndeti.
Thank you so much, Job. I really appreciate your time, you taking your time to pour your knowledge and expertise to us and the rest of the team. My question is in regards to the learning methods of cybersecurity that you touched on earlier in this session. You mentioned both certifications and self-paced learning programs, as well as the traditional method of learning, which is formal education. Now, I happen to be in both currently as a student. I'm doing a course in cybersecurity in digital forensics, as well as I'm also taking several certifications. I did the one you mentioned, one from Cisco in 2022. That was Introduction to Cybersecurity. That gave me a background on the field. Also, I'm doing the Huawei ICA Cloud ETIA, and also the foundations of cybersecurity in Google. But my question is, based off that, from where you sit, which one carries more weight and why? Because truth be told, I'm thinking of dropping my bachelor's course because what I've learned from my certifications versus what I'm getting from school is nothing compared to that. It's just shallow. And the certifications have gone deep and given me experiences and greater exposure to different aspects of cybersecurity I could never have thought. But again, just your perspective from where you sit, what do you think and what course of action should I take? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So it's wow. I was you back in 2017. I was exactly you back in 2017. And yes, see, the one thing about doing self-paced learning is because they go in so much detail in whatever they teach. Yeah. But now, you see, when you're doing an institutional form of learning, institutions will teach you a mindset. But the self-paced learning will only teach you how to get it done. There are very many guys. If you let's take for instance, not even cybersecurity. Let's take web development. There are very many guys who can put a web page in place in less than 30 minutes. But an individual who's taken a course such as computer science or information technology will do that with a lot in the background. You will focus on how does this given website scale You look at how secure it is. You will look at you look at you'll adhere to cybersecurity. No, not just cybersecurity. Like you'll adhere to software engineering concepts that will actually make you stand out. So, as much as self-paced learning gets the work done, institutional-based learning gives you a foundation of thinking. So, as you put your HTML in place, what does your code look like? How where do I put my semicolons? How is my input validation? You are taught how to look at it differently if you went through a school. And then this is the sweet part. When you combine both, you're not only having the knowledge, you're having the knowledge of a self-taught individual with the conscience of an institutional trained personnel. You're becoming the Thanos of the IT world. So taking them both will actually work in your advantage, because I can tell you, when I first joined the first company I was working on, I was joined as a forensic specialist. The background knowledge of understanding how software engineering works really played a part when I was doing my first forensic project. Had I just come there having taken a forensic course without having a background understanding of where I'm coming from, will actually make it harder for me. Understanding where you come from will make you appreciate what you actually have at that given point in time. See, you can never appreciate how far you've come with programming. You can never appreciate how far you've come with innovation and AI if you don't know how hard it was back then to code and to do code review by yourself, and actually have to depend on your peer who's also struggling with the same. And also, they are very, very amazing, let me call them ancient concept that I use in just understanding computing in itself, that go a long way into helping you optimize how you do that work. So I will advise you, don't drop them, do them both, because it gives you an edge. It gives you an edge when you get into the industry. Your understanding is on an upper level. I wish my camera was on, I could have showed you, but your understanding is placed somewhere higher. So if you're lucky enough to have both, take them both. If you're lucky to get one, take it, die with it. But at the end of the day, none is greater than the other. But having both works better. That is what I can tell you. Have I answered your question?
Yes, you have. Thank you so much. I appreciate your insights.
Good. Ronald, I believe. Ronald?
Job.
Yes.
We can take that, Ronald, as the last question for now, and then you can finish on your presentation, and then we can take 2 more questions because of time.
Okay, now Ronald, before I finish up. Ronald? Okay. I believe Ronald might be having issues. So in the interest of time, I'll move to the next part. It's actually role specialization. So once you've gained all this experience and knowledge, now the next part will be now getting into the industry. And you can get into the industry through various methods. You can actually get in on an entry-level course, depending on how good you are. And most of the time, you can be a cybersecurity technician, assistant auditor, or an incident analyst, as myself as I was getting in. And for guys who are actually better, you can actually get in the cybersecurity consultant. You can actually get there as the first job, or you can actually grow there. You become a system security analyst, whereby you are the guys doing QA, and you can also get in as a penetration tester. One of the things you get to do as a self-paced individual, you can actually jump the entry level and just jump into intermediate and make a killing out of it. And then as you grow and as you mature, you become a cybersecurity systems administrator. You get to manage systems and implement them, deploy them, and keep on maintaining them. You can become a cybersecurity engineer whereby you actually write your own systems, configure systems in place. And now the holy grail of it all is the cybersecurity architect, whereby you get to just define how each and every one of these given tools come into play, and how you'll arrange them in a network for them to make sense and to keep that security bubble tight. And then as you look into that, then two questions usually come in mind. Where do I want to go? Do I want to be in the red teaming part of things, or do I want to be in the blue teaming part of things? So as you keep on growing your knowledge and as you explore your given areas of execution, you can actually be taking certifications to add on top of that. So as I said, there are various ways. The various ways you can get certifications, and a good number of these certifications actually out there being given at a self-paced approach, with actually some being time-based. But if you look at them, I've grouped them into two. I'll share this at the end of the presentation, and you'll get to look at it. And then at the end of the day, that is one thing that I personally learned, and not long ago. Understanding who you are really, really, really counts. Really counts into building your career. I can do all of these things, but as long as I don't understand who I am as a cybersecurity professional, I might not be an efficient individual. As we mentor you guys, we want you guys to go out there and be human beings. After a full day of being bombarded by analyzing logs, deploying systems, you should be able to go back home and be a brother, be a father, be a mother, and just have a life. And as you go into the workplace, how do you find it? The first question I said is, who are you? Do you like sitting by yourself? Do you like being around people as you do your things? And once you understand this, and as you get this, if you're met at crossroads in deciding which path to specialize in, the best thing I can advise you is tie your personality to the area of specialization you want to go into. If you figure out that you are an introvert, you like just being by yourself, go into career options in cybersecurity that let you work alone or in a small team. If you figure out that you like being out there, making strategies and just interacting with people, go with career options that actually put you out there and let you interact with people in the best way possible. And at the end of it all, once you marry your personality and your area of specialization, you will never work a day in your life. And as that continues, you can actually, as you grow and you've identified your area of specialization that really marries with your personality, there's that question of continuous growth. Because in cybersecurity, if you're not growing, you'll be edged out very fast. So, and some of the key ways of just staying abreast is by taking certifications, going on hackathons, attending CTFs, as I was told, take on personal projects, do your own labs, or even do group projects, either at the workplace or with friends. Every now and then, sit down by yourself, do a self-evaluation, the goals you set for yourself. If you achieve them, or if not, what can you do to achieve them? And at the end of it all, cybersecurity is not a one-man show. I have gotten where I am. Coming in, the first time I joined the company, I was an AngularJS person, but through mentorship, I'm where I am today. Find a mentor, an individual who's a mentor, follow them. Or if you can't find a mentor, join a mentorship group, a forum, whatever, and get mentored. But be given directions with guys who have been there before you. And this will help you see better and see into the future. So I think with that, I come to the end of my presentation. So I think I'll welcome any questions as we wrap up. The remaining questions as we wrap up. Yes, Nigel? Nigel?
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. I'd just like to take you back on the issue of building home labs to aid with your learning. As a SOC analyst or engineer yourself, having been in the market, what would you advise would be the best approach? And I am assuming, for instance, I'm trying to get into the blue teaming side of things. So what kind of setup lab wise would be ideal to help me, gain my skills now as a beginner, and even later on to help me specialize? And then I think the second question would be, as an employer, or rather an interviewer, what kind of skills are you looking at, for me to be able to get that, land my first role as a SOC analyst? Because if I'm doing red teaming, the labs will simply, be write-ups of boxes that I've solved and everything. So what is the equivalent for that on the blue teaming side of things?
Okay. So a blue teamer, if I can put it, is as good as a red teamer. You cannot be a blue teamer if you don't understand what a red teamer does. And you cannot be a red teamer if you don't understand what a blue teamer will do to counter you. So as you build your labs, focus on when I'm launching my attacks, if I was on the other side of things, how will I stop them? How will I be able to spot them? So find ways, let's say you're using an attack method, and find ways of resolving that given attack method. Because if you tell me, let's say this was an interview, and you tell me there's a way I can leverage on CSRF to get into a network, I will ask you, as a blue teamer, how will you prevent that? Or let's say you've done a vulnerability assessment, yeah. You telling me we have a vulnerability that's a CSRF or cross-site scripting, and you don't tell me this is how you can actually fix it, then I don't believe that information will be valuable to me. Being able to give problems and solutions within the same template makes you a very suitable candidate. And that is why exercises such as vulnerability assessments will teach you. You can jump into one. There are projects on the same. I believe a course such as EJPT will teach you how to do that. It will teach you how to do penetration testing, write a report on it, and write a remediations on the same. So as you look at the problem and the solution, you get to pick up on both sides and see. Finding that problem is one course. Finding the solutions to it is another course. Now, if you come into an interview and I can see that you have understanding of both, I will know for sure that you've explored both sides of things and you sit there as a very suitable candidate. Have I answered your question?
Yes, you have. Maybe just a small follow-up. So ideally, it's good to have nuggets of both sides before I say I'm fully settling in on the blue teamer side as a beginner.
Yes, like I told you, like you stand a better chance in cybersecurity if you can be a Swiss Army knife. I can use you as an opener and use you as a knife at the same time. That makes you better.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you so much.
Then I'll move to Declan. I believe Declan had his hand up. Okay, let's go to.
Sorry, that was a mistake.
Okay, next, Paul.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for the presentation. I have a couple of questions. My first question is, how is the domestic market in terms of cybersecurity? What is the market gap? My second question is, are there instances where laws from foreign countries would limit entry of foreign cybersecurity professionals into their markets? My third question would be about certifications. Are there certifications that would require you to have hands-on experience? For instance, I stumbled upon a certification called Certified Information System Security Professional certification, which in one of its requirements is at least 5 years experience. And lastly, my question would be, given that the world is endorsing memory-safe languages such as Rust and Zig, especially for low-level programming and embedded system programming, what is the future like for binary exploitation?
The last question, kindly repeat. Kindly repeat your last question.
Last question.
Yeah.
Given that the world is endorsing memory safe languages, for instance, Rust and Zig, especially for low-level programming and embedded system programming, what is the future like for binary exploitation?
Okay, so I'll begin with the market. You talked about how the market looks at any given point in time. Right now, with as more and more digitalization takes place, we get the demand for guys who can actually get out there and just secure this environment also grows. Now the key question is, if you come into the market and you just you have the bare minimums, you don't stand a chance. As much as yes, there's market demand, but the one at the top of the table always gets it. So you should strive to put yourself out there, learn as much as you can so that you can actually be the best candidate. Now that everyone has identified that there's money in cybersecurity and people actually want to get in, what puts you apart? Is it your methodologies? Is it your mindset? Is it your hard work, if I may say? So find something that puts you apart. And the next, now I'm looking at laws. And the law side of things, I cannot guarantee a full answer, but I can say yes, there are laws, and this actually depends with the country you're going to practice, or if they've had let's say you're going to practice in a foreign country, if you're doing it there locally or coming from a country, are there sanctions imposed? Are there limits to that? So that is fully dependent on the jurisdiction in power. And then certifications, yes, we love certifications that will require you to have let's say time experience, length of experience. Why do they do this? Because if I do CEH right now and I go for a job immediately, I may not have experienced as many scenarios. I will only have the scenarios that were exposed to me in that CEH course to action upon. But if after doing my CEH, I go into the field, do a number of vulnerability assessments required by CEH, I will have gathered enough knowledge and expose myself to various areas, various scenarios, and that actually will help me think differently. See, and if I keep on doing that, and someone knows I've had my CH for the past 1 year and I've been actively participating, then they'll know I've done enough with my knowledge to actually come in. So it's like fine wine. The older it gets, the tastier it gets. So the longer you have your certification and the time you get to practice with it, the better you become. And then now this self-actualizing. Having talked about languages, I can only say this is actually very wild water. These are new waters. I can only advise you to just approach it with an open mind. What the future looks like, expect change. And you are a better position if you understand what was before and what is coming. A lot of guys are using AI who cannot do a thing in Python, who cannot do a thing in languages such as Lisp. But then you find when push comes to shove, that Python programmer will be called on site when ChatGPT is not giving. So having a little bit of both puts you in a better place. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll go to.
So we'll take one last question, Job, and then you can give us closing remarks kindly.
Okay. So I'll take on Felix.
Thank you, Job. Maybe just a concern.
Okay.
The presentation slides, will they be shared with us as we progress with the course, or they
Yeah,
just
this will be shared with you. But hope will advise further.
Okay.
Yes.
It's good. Okay.
Yeah. You can take the last one then.
Okay. The last question before we close.
Hi, Job.
Hi.
Thank you so much for the presentation. My name is Charles Muya. So I just wanted to find out, what does CTF mean in full? Then secondly, what other avenues or places where we can be able to learn the self-paced learning? I mean, the platforms that are there. Which others do you recommend? I am familiar with Simply Learn and Skill Up. So apart from those two, which other sites that one can go and open an account and then be able to learn through the self-paced learning method of gaining knowledge? Thank you.
Okay, so CTF stands for Capture the Flag. This is basically just computer security competitions that you put in against. You can be put in teams or individuals. Then you are given problems to solve. You can be exposed to vulnerable systems, find a vulnerability, and fix it. So, like literally, it's a place where you get to put all your cybersecurity knowledge and put it like you can be like I can say it's like a what you call random access test, whatever I used to have back in high school. Yeah, you get questions from any topic that you've learned, and you're supposed to answer them in real time within a very short period of time. So that's just CTF. I cannot fully put it out I cannot give a conclusive answer to what CTF said it is all about. The best way is for you to just experience it. But one thing you should know is at any point in time, you will be put against a number of individuals, given vulnerable systems and well-defined problems that you'll have to solve. As for the cybersecurity learning platforms, as I mentioned before, there's one that there's Cybery, very popular, free. You can join any point in time. For CTFs, we have Hack the Box and Try Hack Me. Those ones always have guys. They have leadership scoreboards. Sometimes they even have hangouts organized by local groups. And then you can have something like Coursera. They give you courses both free and paid, and sometimes they even partner with bigger organizations such as Microsoft and Google to just give out these courses to guys for free, which in other instances they could have been paid for. We can look at Udemy and Udacity. They also host a good number of cybersecurity courses, and actually those ones came in really handy for me. Taking into consideration, I was in campus, and you could get up to 3 months holidays. You jump into those, you get your hands dirty, and you'll be good to go. There's also InfoSec, and there's one Cybersec labs and cybersecurity degrees. So those ones actually are courses that can actually do that. Can actually help you grow in that given point in time. And one thing I can advise you: don't stop growing. Always explore. The next cybersecurity learning platform is only a Google away. So you go and Google it to find it. I think that does that answer the question.
Thank you so much, Job. Thank you.
Okay. I believe my email was left with yes, Sunday, I believe.
Thank you, sir. I think I've joined late and I missed a lot out. I don't know if you can take me back through the internship, the one for the internship, if you can give an overview. Thank you.
So Sunday, thank you for that. We do provide the recorded session via YouTube and also the slides. Kindly, because of time.
So I believe with that we can call
Okay,
it.
Thank you. Noted.
Yes.
Okay. So I believe with that. I'd like to thank you guys for making time. It takes a great commitment to just be here, stay for 1 hour listening. And then one thing I can tell you, you guys are in a very lucky time, and there's a lot happening around you. You guys are a receptive crowd. take the opportunity whenever it presents itself. There's no end to learning, and the sooner you start learning, the better you become. It's literally learning. It's just muscle memory. Build it as soon as you can, and that puts you in a better position going forward. That's emphasis. Don't stop learning. The market here is ready for whoever looks better. So choose to be the one who looks better. And that should be my closing remark. My email address will be shared for anyone who wants to reach out later on. And I believe I also share the presentation for guys who want to refer to it. I think with that, I thank you guys, and I bow out and hand it over back to Hope, and wish you guys an amazing evening.
Okay, thank you so much, Job. You've done a really great work just taking through us beginning a career in cybersecurity, covering the introduction, the core areas, the roadmap you provided, also going into how to gain practical experience, how to specialize in particular roles, and also emphasizing on continuous growth. So this is really, really a good start for the mentorship sessions for this particular group. And thank you for doing an extensive and good job with it. Also, thank you for answering the questions and accommodating us even with time. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Okay. So for the participants, thank you so much for joining. We still have a good number, 165. I hope by the time we're at week 10, week 11 of this cohort, with the good number still remains. I've also noted a couple of alumni on the call. Thank you guys. Support those who are currently in the cohort, give them advice, just tell them how you guys did it, how you completed, and also feel free to come back as mentors. We really appreciate that. So for the rest of the team, thank you everyone and have a good evening. Bye.
I hope one more thing, please.
Yes, Collins.
Mine is just a quick follow-up. First of all, thank you so much for this session. We really appreciate it. And I remember we had some session back before exam on financial literacy, and were told that in future we can have a second session or a follow-up of that. So kindly, mine's just a reminder on if it's still possible, and I'd appreciate if we can still have one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Collins. Let me reach out to, what's his name? The speaker from KBA and see how his calendar looks, and then we see how we can coordinate that with this.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay, welcome. So I'll share the slides for this session. Kindly, Job, share the slides so that I can share them with the students later on. And also your email. Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a good evening.
Blessed one, team.